It's high time that as Namibians, we look at each other as one Namibia, one nation. We leave those stuffs of still following the colonial boundaries that were set on us, because we are all one Namibia. Yeah, and we should have one common goal, is to make Namibia a better place.
Mr. Sydeny, Mutelo, thank you so much for coming on Africa Speak.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so you being an educator and being working on so many things that you are with the hope of improving the education system in our country and all that, do you think our traditional methods that we currently use will still be able to prepare students for the modern world that we actually live in, or like how?
Well, that's a very interesting question. As the word says, traditional, the education system just paved the way, as in a foundation for today's education system. There's a need, a very great need to revise it, to decolonize it, and take the good practices from that traditional way of teaching, to translate it to the new modern teaching. Yes. So currently, one can tell already from the output of the education system that indeed there's a need for paradigm shift because of the failure rate. Since independence 34 years ago, we have Namibia that haven't even reached a 50% pass rate for the high scholars that are transitioning into university. So I feel there's a great need to decolonize and revise and overhaul the whole education system. Yes.
So what do you think are some of maybe the major contributors to the high rate failure, especially now, of our students or learners to actually transition from high school into university?
Well, the major contributor to me is I would think of the whole educator themselves. Educators need to upskill. You currently find the teachers who were trained by their educators who came from the 90s, 80s, who were taught by the colonial education system that was teacher-based and not student-based. So as we approach the 2030 Vision 2030, as stipulated in the policy of the Namibian education system, there's a need for us to allow new educators to come on board that has been imparted those skills for the 21st century need. So there's a need also for the whole education system, the whole classroom to transform. Because currently the classroom that we have in Namibia, you have a blackboard, white chalks, and textbook. And I have a great concern with those three items.
What's the concern?
Well, you have a child that is passionate about using gadgets as a means of teaching, of learning, and then this child goes to school where the teacher is teaching how this teacher was taught, and this is the reason why our learners don't get that inspiration to study. So it will be lazier for them to focus on the chalkboard, the teacher doing the thing, and instead of them being actively engaged. And that is why I feel there's a great need for us to transform the education system.
I see, and I think we still have a long way to go, or are we there as a country, especially in some regions, or like?
Well, I think I'd rate Namibia at 10%. 10%, because there are great schools that Namibia has, mostly majority of private schools. Private schools are there, but you can't rate private schools as part of the whole national agenda, because private schools have different approach to the whole education system. So we have a system whereby the classroom need new teaching and learning materials that should meet the standard of countries such as Singapore, Japan, Finland. One of the one of the some of the practices that we have in today's education system in Namibia, we have copied them from the from the Finnish education system, but you will see that there's still a big gap between us and Finland.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. So you have actually been recognized for your outstanding practice in implementing educational technology. And could you just share what initially drew you to educational technology and how it addresses some of the challenges in Namibian schools, especially those in rural areas?
Yeah. It actually began one time when one of the student teachers came from back then Katima Mlilo campus. So this student teacher came, and I was in grade 6 then, and the student teacher gave me a device, and then we searched how to perform long division, and that was grade 6. So we searched it on the phone, and it's stipulated step by step, and from that day until today, I remember that how to perform this long division. Some of the people out there still struggle with it. So with that, I realized, then mobile applications are not a threat to education. They are rather a bridge into the future. So with that, my passion for edutech, educational technology, grew up. I finished my bachelor's. After finishing my bachelor's, I did my master's degree.
In education?
Yes, in education. So that was the time of COVID-19. So during the COVID-19, because I've learned a lot and I'm so passionate about technology, the Ministry of Education overnight decided that they're going to implement e-learning in school, where there should be remote teaching and all that. So due to the background that I have and the skills that I had at the moment, I told the principal then at one of my schools that I teach, and then I asked him that perhaps maybe I can offer training to the colleagues on how to use certain tools like Google Meet, so that they can meet with the students, set online activities so that they can do that with the activities with their learners remotely. So while I did that, one of my supervisors, Prof. Benson, that came from the USA, was so touched about the decision that I took upon myself, and she submitted the whole thing of me, because I had to put it in a report also for my master's. So she thought, let me submit this to the Association for Educational Communication and Technology in the USA. And then I got the award. I was nominated. They indicated that this award is the first time it's going to Namibia as an outstanding student practice of the year. So I'm so grateful and tap myself on the shoulder for the award. Okay. So what, I think, so you've been teaching now that was now the time you were teaching in Katima, or is in Windhoek? This here in Windhoek, in Katutura.
And where, I think in Windhoek it was actually easier for the students to kind of join online and to use gadgets as well. Was it easier, or was it also was there also a challenge?
Well, there are challenges. As I mentioned, that you find the teachers who were taught before the 20th century. So these guys do not have that skill to meet the fast-growing world of technology. They believed that the only means of communication then was just a WhatsApp group. So I thought perhaps maybe during this, you have the WhatsApp group, you can also bring in this certain tool so that it can enhance teaching and learning. So yes, I imparted the skill to these teachers, and they learned, and it was, let's say, it was effective at our school. And I saw it growing from our school to other schools around.
Okay, that's actually amazing. So youth behavior has been a topic lately, with students' behavior or learners' behavior, let me say, and then the teachers taking it upon themselves to discipline the students and all that. So do you, in your research and experience, what role can emerging technology play in addressing the behavior of students in classrooms?
Well, thank you so much for that interesting question. Indeed, one can applaud technology that it shows significance in today's education system, because one, it actively engages the learner, and through its role to engage the learner, it will combat certain behavior in the learner compared to the traditional classroom that I mentioned, chalkboard, table, and textbook, and chalks. So there's a different setting, and with technology, it brings the aspect of social responsibility among the learners, mindfulness among the learners who learn to appreciate the knowledge that is exposed to them, other than being forced to learn by an educator. So lately we have seen with one situation, let's say more than one situation out there where teachers are in problems for corporal punishment. This is because the teaching and learning out there in the education system is the way it was 20 years ago in 2000 or in 2004. Not much has transformed. So one would say that indeed there's a need to decolonize the education system. If we continue having this sort of education system, the challenges will forever be there, and they will continue to immense and grow further and further. Yeah,
I see. That's so true. Yeah. And how do you think educators can effectively maybe involve students in meaningful ways, especially those who may come from maybe marginalized communities as well?
It doesn't really begin with the educator himself or herself. We are approaching November 27th, when Namibians have to go to the polls and elect new leaderships. So everything surrounds on politicians. When you look at the education system, it's a child of a politician. So what politicians does is that they have the power to allocate funds to the education system. So if we really do not have the aspect of properly voting people who are rightfully deserving in power, or have this situation go on and on, because what politicians should do is they should source the education system to transform the whole classroom setting with necessary tools for the 21st century classroom, so that when those things get to the classroom, they can, and now when we talk of a classroom, we are talking both rural and urban. Urban schools are privileged to have electricity, but we have rural schools that do not have. The government could source out rural electrification and also solar system into these schools, so that the schools can get to that standard. I also talk about a situation, and this is a call to action for people living in the rural areas. So let's talk about the first university that was formed in Botswana. Botswana's first university, the community just regrouped and thought, we need a university that is up to standard in Botswana. So what Botswana did then was each family in Botswana, let's say rather in the surrounding of the university, gave a cow. So when they gave this cow, each family gave, and there were a lot of cattle, not big cattle in Botswana, and then this cattle was slaughtered. When they were slaughtered, they took the meat to England and other countries. So when the money came, they built this university. So these are some of the aspects that our rural communities should look at. To transform a school should not really wait for politicians, you understand? We can take actions upon ourselves and regroup and strategize, and let's do away with the thing of surrendering the education system to the politicians. As I mentioned, the politicians allocate the budget, so because they want to ensure that all areas are funded properly, then the education system, they would say yes, it's a big budget, but that budget goes to textbooks that 2 years they are destroyed. One could buy a laptop, a smart board in the class, and all that can be locked in the classroom.
That's so true. Let's speak about the new curriculum, education curriculum. There's been like, it's complicated. People don't understand the new curriculum. You being an educator, and now especially now parents, they don't understand what curriculum the kids are doing, that you have to end in grade 11 and you could go to university. And then some universities, like, they are not taking grade 11s. And some of the teachers are also saying, no, we don't understand the curriculum. Like, the curriculum from your side as a teacher or as an educator, does it make sense actually?
Well, the curriculum, yes, it makes sense to a certain extent, because the government implemented this curriculum for the sake of minimizing the failure rate, for it to the pass rate to increase. But it seems like, well, yes, one can tell that due to the paradigm shift that they changed, you would see that. The intake of learners into university has now increased.
Really?
Yes, because of the grade of some universities and colleges taking grade 11s, while some would say, okay, since you have did well in grade 11, you can go to grade 12, do 3 subjects and add on and do more advanced courses such as medicine, engineering and all that. But one can tell that, yes, there's a significant improvement in the performance of the learners. Because in the past, when this system was implemented, I think there was over 5% increase on the pass rate. So one can tell that it could impact, but there's still a lot that the Ministry of Education should do. And as a country, we need to accept changes, because some of the changes, they slowly take us to greater heights.
But what measures are there for this curriculum, or for this new curriculum, to actually reduce or increase the pass rate?
Well, the measure that is there is that one would conclude by saying, because let's say, for example, you start comments in grade. Grade 8, 9, you have all the subjects. 10, you streamline in that one stream, the lesser comments. And then when you get into comments, you will imagine now you are starting in grade 10, and all the way up to grade 12, you have comments. So it gives you ample time to have a greater understanding of that field that you are doing. Other than the previous one, whereby you would have grade 8, 9, 10, as in sort of junior secondary, and then you'd have grade 11, 12 as high school. So this time around, I think the learners are more equipped. And also when we talk of failure rate, it's caused by the aspect of society itself. Society itself need to change their mindset. How can you tell me that you have a school in the community and you still allow kids that are below 18 to buy alcohol? So, but that would be a discussion as we go.
No, but
so these are some of the things that the ills that Namibia is facing out there that should really be abolished. And the people who give licenses to liquor operators, they should really look into those things. They should come to where the outlet is and look around. If it's so close to homesteads, let that be closed. Because you can't tell me there's a piano playing next door and tomorrow you are writing.
That's so true.
That piano will go with you in the exam hall.
And I think there was even an incident, I'm not sure if it was in Katima or Rundu, where school kids were found, I think after school, with uniform at one of the shebins.
Exactly.
It was in the news all over. I don't know if it was last week.
And that's what we are talking about. So there are a lot of ills that are out there, and there's a need for people to apply their mindfulness and take cognizance of seeking to transform our society. Because if our society have this type of mindset, they will feel that doing alcohol when you are writing an exam, it's a normal thing. And then later January, when the high school results are out, then you start saying, teachers. While you know that, there's a common saying that says that when we are pointing a finger to someone, 4 of them were counting back on you. So we are all, education is a whole a collective decision that we take.
It's true. Yeah. And do you think like okay, still on the new curriculum, yes. Do you think like as teachers, you guys are well equipped to teach the new curriculum as well?
Yes, teachers are well equipped, because what changed is not the subject content, but it's just the gradings. The grading, the specific grades. So if for example you are taught to teach mathematics grade 11, 12, okay, you'll be able to teach grade 10, 11 and 12 in the new curriculum. Yeah. And if you are taught to teach the primary school, you can teach grade 4, 5, 6 and 7. So there's really not much has changed into the education system. It's just the grades that has changed, because why they did that is so that they can just to improve the performance, and also to ensure that the learners benefit. And I feel there's also a need. There's also something that I noticed, that in some of the subjects, they've brought in few components that are necessary for learners to master.
Oh, yeah. I see. Yes. Okay, let's move to corporal punishment and disciplines in schools. So, corporal punishment has long been one of the contentious issues in Namibia. Yes. So, what are your thoughts on alternative methods of discipline that can be implemented, especially in schools where resources are scarce and educators already stretched within?
Thank you so much. Discipline, everything lies and falls on discipline in a classroom from a teacher's perspective. If you have a disruptive learner, it hampers teaching and learning, because you leave, for example, 39. And one thing that one should take out is the teacher-learner ratio. Teacher-learner ratio is also part of the contributing factor in ill discipline in our schools, because you'd find that some of the classroom, they go up to 60 per one teacher. So you have 60 with one teacher. So that is already a big and worrisome situation. Now, I would like to touch based on that. I'm so fortunate to be a fellow of SILF from Japan. So I've engaged with the Japanese education system and see how they operate in Japan. As a SILF fellow, it's our duty so that we can understand what happens in Japan and the little practice that they do. So in Japan, parental involvement is key. And when we talk key, is that a parent should not only come to school when your child is in trouble. And that is the situation of Namibia. So you have a situation in Namibia that currently parents do not just come to school. Well, I would say not some, but majority of the parents, they hardly come to school when the child is just having a normal day. They only come when they have received that letter to say, look, your child is disruptive at school, very disrespectful, we need you to show up, you are summoned. And then they come and they follow, they face the repercussions. But that shouldn't be the case. So there's a need for us as parents to be actively engaged in our learners' education system. I feel also as a way to curb the ill discipline in our school, there's a need for us to have a sort of a mindful class where you talk to the learners on how to behave in an acceptable manner in a class, and not only to behave in a wild and unacceptable way. And also there's need perhaps for teacher and learner to establish that relationship, working relationship, whereby as a teacher you should not be feared, and as a learner you should not be feared. So there should be a relationship between teacher and learner, professional working relationship, whereby one submits to authority, and then at the same time again you feel that you are part of the classroom. Yeah, that's the next one. And the other one, perhaps there's a need for the Ministry of Education to hire more intense behavioral psychologists into schools. I'll give you one situation of a school that I know where there are more than 1,500 learners and there's only one life skill teacher. So that already says that behavioral situation in that school will not be managed by this single individual. Yeah. So there's a need to perhaps to hire more.
Yeah. And I think as learners as well, we don't really take life skill subjects normal. You abscond or you use that period as your free
doing homework.
Yeah, doing homework and doing other things. Saying it's not important, it's not graded, it's not going to my final marks as well.
Absolutely, but the need of that subject, yes, there is a need, but they should add some more significance to it, such as perhaps it contributing a certain mark to one promotional subject. Because we have behavioral problems in Namibia where kids are coming with weapons to school. We have our neighbor South Africa where I think it's a principal that was gunned down. Live broad daylight, normal school day. Kids are doing all these things. Kids are smoking herbs at school. They're smoking marijuana. So these are things that need to be addressed because behavior plays a significant role in teaching and learning, despite the need of the classroom to be decolonized itself. But there should be a mind shift among the learners, because you would find that us as parents or teachers at school, we are limited. We have limited time with these learners. So you as a parent at home, you need to equip them with knowledge to say, when you go to the school, this is how you behave, this is how you represent this house to the outside world.
That's very true. Yeah. That's very true. And would you support corporal punishment if it's had to be brought back?
Capital no, because corporal punishment, yes, there is some good in it, but I take it as it's against the human right of any person. Imagine, as old as I am, if I don't do my homework, I get killed. So I would say corporal punishment should not be a way to resolve. They should rather be bringing in psychologists, because to shift one's behavior, it requires someone who have studied this field, so that you can, there should be a shift in one's behavior. And punishment, such as corporal punishment, all they do is they negatively reinforce. So what you do is you rather scare this person. They will do the thing out of fear and not out of the willingness to learn. So one should really be cognizant of that.
Yeah, that's very true.
So corporal punishment should not be brought back. Maybe other countries, but not Namibia.
In the last few months, there's been quite a increase or number of cases whereby there were rape cases that were reported in the newspapers of teachers and learners. Do you think that is something that has been happening, or why do you think there's an increase now when making that?
Well, what a controversial and sensitive question. It is so sad to see a teacher having a sexual relationship with a learner. Perhaps I would say that there are things that are fueling to this. And one, we live in Namibia where newspapers are writing items that are quite sensitive as this. And you would see that learners, some of the learners in school have started selling themselves out to them for certain amount of dollars for sexual intercourse. And this is a very, very challenging situation to be in. I don't want to conclude that the teachers that are out there, that are involved into these things, are into it because they have seen a loophole in these learners that perhaps maybe they can indulge in such activities. But one should really discourage such things, such practices. They are bad, because as a teacher you are entrusted to teach these particular learners and not to be sexually involved with the learner. And it's unprofessional to do that. So to add to that, you mentioned about the curriculum change in the university. The University of Namibia never had a module called professional ethics. And currently, as we speak, the new shift that they did, curriculum reform, they brought in, professional ethics, a way of behaving that is acceptable out there. So the new teachers, as I mentioned, will be skilled with this acceptable norms of behavior, so that when they go out there, they do not resort to learners as sexual partners. But it's a bad practice.
It's quite true. Okay, so many schools, especially I think there were like about 2 schools that were closed down last month, or was it this month, in Kavango, due to bad sanitation at school. So many schools in Namibia still struggle with the basic infrastructure like adequate sanitation. So from your perspective as an educator, how does this affect both students, attendance and behavior, and what role do you think the government as well as the private sectors can really play in improving these conditions?
Yes. The answer to that is Ubuntu. The practices of Ubuntu should be implemented in Namibia. Education system does not only depend on the budget that is offered by the Ministry of Education, because it's not enough, and there are over thousands of schools in Namibia. So what we should do as a community, education is a social responsibility. It being a social responsibility means that private organizations that are operating into the vicinity should not watch a school without a fence, should not watch a school with learners having school under a tree, or a school without ablution facilities. That should not happen. As I gave an example of Botswana, Botswana did that, and until today that university is out there and it's producing graduates that are imparting knowledge. So as Namibians, we should prioritize the aspect of our improving the education system. You cannot tell me that you will have effective teaching and learning while you are going to relieve yourself in nature. So while you are doing that, maybe there's a snake on the side, and that snake will just attack you, and then later there's a case of death. So there is a need of the community to unite and put the little that you have for improvement of schools, and not only to surrender the education system on the ministry.
That's so true. So in your experience as well with integrating technology into schools, have you seen any innovative solutions that could address issues such as sanitation, overall infrastructures, and that is under-resourced in under-resourced schools?
Well, I've seen some, but majority of the schools that I've seen the items were donated from outside donors, mostly from other countries. We have USA, we have China themselves. They offer donations to schools in Namibia. But as Namibians, the people with businesses should come forth and donate. And that's part of their social responsibility. When they register for a business with BIPA, there is a clause in the application that says, I shall offer this to the community. So they should adhere to such practices. And with the green hydrogen on the way, I believe the next 10 years, our education system will be transformed. We will not have a situation such as that.
Okay. So, as educator protection, teachers protection. So, as an educator and a researcher as well, you are likely to encounter instances where teachers face aggression and lack of respect from students or even the parents themselves. So, do you think there are enough protection in place for teachers or educators in Namibia, and how can policies be improved to safeguard the teachers, really?
That's a good one. Thank you so much for that question. Indeed, one can tell from the situations that has happened in Namibia that there's really little done for the educators out here, because one, I would give you some practical example. There was a situation where here in Commerce, where a teacher was physically attacked by a parent through a stabbing with a screwdriver. There are quite a number of cases around the country where parents attack, where learners fight, all these type of things. So there is a need that as the government, yes, it's good to protect the learner, but also protect the educator. I spoke about Japan earlier. In Japan, there's high respect for teachers. Previously, before independence in Namibia, teachers were highly respected. And since independence, then they say the whole paradigm shift that has been changing and all that, the value of a teacher, the significance has dropped in Namibia, where learners can physically do whatever they can do, say words to the teachers, but as a community, we need to tell the learner that, look, a teacher is a very important person in society, because they impart knowledge. They are the change. They are the mother of all professions. Because without a teacher, you will not have a doctor. You will not have an engineer who is designing a bridge. You will not have nurses that are treating you in hospital. So it is the teacher. Therefore, there's a need to respect teachers, to ensure that you give them the much needed respect. Yeah,
that's very true. So in one of your recent articles, you touched on the issue of tribalism and inequality. So how do you see these social issues affecting education in Namibia, particularly in terms of resources allocation, quality of education, and youth opportunities?
Yeah. You know, Namibia is a country that is made of various regions. So before independence, the colonizers had a strategic way of ensuring that Namibia does not get independence. So they set up borders. And then they would say the Namas are that side, the Hereros are that side, the Damaras are that side, the Awambos are that side, and the Caprivian are that side, the Kavangos are that side. So these borders, they were set to ensure that you as a person, you see your fellow tribesmen as the only person that you can trust, and any other person out there, you should not trust them. So this practice has come into post-education, post-Namibia. So now you find a situation whereby we talk of budget, the budgetary that I said that the government does. There is a situation whereby one of the politicians in Namibia, Bernard Swadbo, had a speech in Kavango East. He mentioned that a small town such as, he gave an example, I will not say the town, such as town A received 300 million, and a big town such as town B received 150 million for their annual development. So if you check the geolocation of these towns, you would find out that one town is arranged to a certain tribe and the other one to the other. So due to this, it becomes unequal opportunities, because that budget could have imparted this development and that development. So the same happens into opportunities, youth employment, where you touch a CV and then look at the CV. This person is from this tribe, so I'll put it aside. This person is from this tribe, from my tribe, I'll take it. So it's high time that as Namibians, we look at each other as one Namibia, one nation. We leave those stuffs of still following the colonial boundaries that were set on us, because we are all one Namibia. Yeah, and we should have one common goal, is to make Namibia a better place. And if we do this, we'll not have things such as people standing up and breaking the minister's car right in daylight. So all these things, and the words of that gentlemen who smashed the car, where that you are corrupt, this and that. So it's practices such as that we should curb through us having one Namibia mindset. I personally am one of the person that looks at Namibia as a whole, all Namibians equal in my eyes, and none is greater, you understand? We're all the same. If let's say right now I was driving and I see one an old, let's say it's raining, an old Nama lady and a Caprivian lady who is just fine. I'll take a Nama lady where she's going, or Mwambo, or that. But not necessarily to give a hike to a Caprivian because I'm Caprivian. No, it doesn't work like that. And this comes with education. We need to transform ourselves, and we need to tell ourselves that, look, we are Namibians. We have the same ID card, and that should be a symbol to say that, look, we are one. Yeah.
That's so true. So what do you think, what measures can be taken to actually ensure that youth from marginalized or tribal communities are given equal opportunities in education, especially in terms of technology?
Yeah. Well, technology integration in rural area is key, because one of the AI guru today came from a very remote area, that Elon Musk. If you can hear his story, he grew up in South Africa, where back then, before independence, little was done. So Namibia can also do the same. We have people in Opuo, people in as remote as other places in Namibia. So there's a need to bring technology to these people, and not only to see technology when we come to university. So when that happens, there will be a hate for technology. But if you bring technology at an early age of learners in school, that will capacitate these learners to love technology more and appreciate technology and look at technology as a future to them.
That's so true. So lastly, actually, you, as a PhD candidate, are deeply involved in the field of educational technology. Where do you see the future of education in Namibia heading to, particularly in relation to closing the gaps in inequal and as well promoting youth involvement?
Yeah. Well, I see a great Namibia, that will embrace technology, embrace AI, embrace other emerging technologies out there. When the discoveries of oils in Namibia, in gas, there's an article that was written that is the discovery of oil and gas a curse or a blessing for Namibia. So I look at it as this discovery is a blessing to Namibia, because once they start harvesting these resources, I'm sure and certain that a lot of budget will be pumped into education to transform the education system, and through doing that, the classroom will improve. We'll have a 21st century classroom in Namibia, and not a 1990 classroom that Namibia inherited before independence. So I believe, with people traveling from one country to another, with us coming in with PhDs and learning on the significance of AI and other emerging technologies in the education system, and as a nation, there will be great things happening for the next few years. It's just the aspect of budgetary. And I want to speak to anyone out there that feel you can make a change in society. One of the scholars that I came across suggested that the easiest way to improve a classroom from class A to class B, and class B being the better place, is by ensuring that learners bring their own devices at school. So through bringing their own devices at school, there will be no need for textbooks, there will be no need for chalkboards and all that. So through this way of doing, learners, perhaps the ministry should adopt that, to say that parents who can afford purchase devices for your learners, so that these devices can come to school and be used at school and go back with the learner home. So that way we can improve the education system of Namibia.
That's so true. So thank you so much for actually coming on Africa Speak. Is there anything else that I left out that you want as well to tackle?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I think we have exhausted most of it, and it's just a call for Namibians to ensure that we go out there and vote, to bring changes in Namibia. And let's have a mindset of transforming the key industries such as education in Namibia, and to discourage the traditional classroom from continuing until 2030. That we envision that every classroom, according to the 2030 document, says that every classroom by the year 2030, there should be a computer. And one today can definitely say that statement is not realized. Yeah, because you find classes that do not have electricity.
Yeah.
So if you bring a computer to that class, it will be a white elephant. So those are my closing words. And thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right.